Flambeau Radio.
Flambeau Radio.
Sparks knowledge, ignites skill. Sphere of flame that forges learning.
Flambeau Radio.
99.9 megahertz in your radio dial. You are tuned in to Flambeau Radio, the campus radio of the Isabela School of Arts and Trades, the prime mover of textbook education in the Cagayan Valley region. Now connecting to the community via sound waves to expand its reach to the 21st century learners.
Flambeau Radio
is a channel that broadcasts lessons of the Department of Education to enrich teaching and learning process, hoisting the flagship of enduring education, believing that our future rests on the hands of our youth. Flambeau Radio.
Flambeau Radio, at your service in education.
A blissful day to all of you, my dear 21st century learners. How are you? I pray that you are all doing fine. Just stay home and always be grateful for the gift of life and that you still have a chance to do things right. Today is another wonderful opportunity to learn. We are now on the second week of our oral communication in context class on air. By the way, this is Teacher Nichar Umengan, your radio teacher for today's learning episode. I would like to encourage everyone to give your best shot and always stay tuned for more learning here at 99.9 megahertz Flambeau Radio. Before we start, always remember to bring with you your module, pen, and other learning materials you need for the entire duration of our radio broadcast instruction. After today's episode, you are expected to differentiate the various models of communication, explain the process of communication through the elements involved, and recognize the importance of the models in understanding the communication process as applied in everyday life.
All right, to give you time to get everything that you need, let's pause for a short break.
Hi, Maria! Are you done with our narrative essay in reading and writing?
No, Julia. I don't think I can make one.
Huh? But why? Were you present in our online class when our teacher discussed it?
Yes, I was.
Then why can't you make the activity?
You see, Julia, I am not good in English. It's very difficult for me to understand the language.
Did you tell our teacher about it?
No, I'm shy to tell her that I'm having a hard time.
Maria, you need to be honest. Our teacher kept on reminding us that we can send personal messages to her if we cannot understand the lessons clearly. She won't get mad, I assure you. She just wants us to be honest enough so that she'll know what to do.
You think so?
Yes, of course. That's what I did. I was able to make the activity because our teacher helped me understand the lesson. As a matter of fact, she delightedly answered all my questions.
Really? But I think I still can't.
Why are you saying you can't? Did you even try?
No.
Then try it first before saying you can't do it. Believe in yourself, Maria, because our teachers believe in us so much.
You're right, Julia. I think I should try it first before saying that it's difficult. And I also think that I should not feel scared to approach our teacher. After all, no one will help me but her. Thank you so much, Julia.
You're always welcome, Maria. But don't forget, I am also here to help you. What are friends for, right?
Thank you so much, Julia. I am so lucky to have you.
Remember, Isatians, trying is way better than quitting. A friendly reminder from Isat Radio.
Welcome back, my dear 21st century learners. In your previous lesson with Ma'am Zan, you have learned the functions, nature, and process of communication. On this episode, the focus of our lesson is on communication models. However, before we dive deeper with the lesson, let us recall some key terms that you encountered in the previous lesson. Kindly turn your module to page 16. You are going to complete the paragraph by choosing the correct word from the word pool. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. Don't forget to write your name, section, subject, and module number on top of your answer sheet. Okay, I shall give you enough time to answer the activity. Let us check your answers after these reminders.
For a student like you, distance learning poses many challenges. Learning all by yourself in this time of pandemic is not easy. But cheer up, young minds, for your learning buddies are here to make learning outcomes rewarding for you. Dare to discover, learn, and be more competent as we sail together in the world of education. Join us in refining your skills to reach your full potentials as a learner here at Learning Today. What's your learning today? Aha! Monitor your learning today.
Mom! What's wrong, Rika? Are you okay? Mom, my teacher asked me to do infomercial about our subject as part of our performance task. That's great! I know you can do that. I'm not sure, Mom. But why? I feel nervous, Mom. I am thinking of my schoolworks. I am not yet done in my modules. I don't even submitted my summative test. I am not sure if I have time to do it. You know, Rika, it's a matter of time management and good study habits. Time management and good study habits? What's that, Mom? Time management is the ability to use your time productively and efficiently, while good study habits are study techniques that enhance the students to realize their full potentials. Now I know what to do. I will make a list of things to be done and start a good study habit. In this way, I can finish my schoolworks on time without compromising the quality of my work. You were absolutely right. When you do things without rushing, you will have the best output. Thanks, Mom. I need to go now and I will now start managing my time. Okay, Rika. Study well. Always check your priorities. A gentle reminder is Sachans from 99.9 Flambeau Radio.
We're back. Let us check your answers now. Please be honest in correcting your answers. Are you ready? For number 1, the answer is communication. For number 2, the answer is sender. Let us check number 3. The answer is receiver. For number 4, the answer is written. For number 5, the answer is non-verbal. For number 6, the answer is decoding. For number 7, the answer is message. For number 8, the answer is behavior. For number 9, the answer is motivates. And the answer for the last item is interact. Let us check your answers for the second time around. This time, I shall read the whole text with the correct word to complete the paragraph. Communication is a process which follows a certain procedure. Communication occurs between two or more people, the sender or source of the information, and the receiver. It can be articulated through written or spoken words. It can also be expressed through gestures, facial expressions, or actions which are nonverbal, where words are not needed to understand what one means. Let us continue for the remaining items 6 to 10. Decoding is the process of interpreting the encoded message of the source by the receiver. Communication also functions to control behavior. It motivates or encourages people to live better and allows individuals to interact with others. There you go, learners. I think you are very much ready for our lesson this day, which will be discussed after this short break.
Have you finished your modules yet, Jenny? I am trying to complete my EAPP module, Mom. I noticed that part of my module in all my subjects is the presence of reflection. My advisor always reminds me, though, to accomplish it no matter what. Why is that? Jenny, reflection is a powerful tool to have better learning experiences. Really, Mom? How? Doing reflection in learning is a way of allowing learners like you to step back from your learning experience, helping you to develop critical thinking skills and improve on future performance by analyzing what you have learned and how far have you reached. So, Mom, when I reflect on my learning experiences, I am given the opportunity to share my accomplishments, struggles, and moments of confusion, and that makes me more directed what to do next because I know my personal strengths and I am aware of what to focus on with my learning. In that way, my teachers will also know of the things their students need more in instruction. You got it, Jenny. Wow, not just that, Mom. I realize that doing reflection means I am in charge of my learning, and that makes me getting better each day as a student. That's my girl. A friendly reminder from the Department of Education and this station.
Hello, and welcome back, my dear 21st century learners. This time, kindly turn your module to page 19. In order for you to understand better the nature and process of communication as discussed in the first episode of our program Learning Today, let us take a look at the illustrations on the models of communication process. The representations will help you understand the basic elements of communication. See how these components of communication operate and interact as communication progresses. Let us now move on to our topic today about the various communication models. There are three most well-known models for communication. These are linear, interactional, and transactional. Let us go over each model one by one. Have you talked to somebody but did not get any response or reaction from him or her at all? Have you experienced sending a message without receiving any feedback? If your answer is yes, then you have already experienced linear communication. Linear communication was originally developed by Shannon and Weaver in 1949. This model describes communication as a linear process. Let's take a look at Figure 1.
Shannon-Weaver model of communication in your module on page 20. This model describes how a sender or speaker transmits a message to a receiver or listener. More specifically, the sender is the source of the message. A message may consist of the sounds, words, or behaviors in a communication interaction. The message itself is transmitted through a channel, the pathway for communication to a receiver, who is the target or recipient of the message. There may be obstacles in the communication process, or noise. Noise refers to any interference in the channel or distortion of the message. This is a fairly simple model in which a message is simply passed from sender to receiver. In this model, the process stops after the message has arrived at its destination. An example of this model is the president is giving his SONA, State of the Nation address, on the national television. Another example is sending a notification or message that does not require a reply. I am optimistic that with these examples, together with the explication in Figure 1, you have already understood what linear model of communication is. We shall now proceed to the next model of communication after these reminders.
Flambeau Radio
Flambeau Radio.
sparks knowledge, ignites skills, sphere of flame that forges learning.
Flambeau Radio.
99.9 megahertz in your radio dial. You are tuned in to Flambeau Radio, the campus radio of the Isabella School of Arts and Trades, the prime mover of textbook education in the Cagayan Valley region. Now connecting to the community via sound waves to expand its reach to the 21st century learners.
Flambeau Radio
Is a channel that broadcasts lessons of the Department of Education to enrich teaching and learning process, hoisting the flagship of enduring education, believing that our future rests on the hands of our youth. Flambeau Radio.
Flambeau Radio, at your service in education.
All right, let us now continue our lesson on the second model of communication, which is known as interactive or interactional model. Unlike linear communication, interactive approach is a two-way communication process where a response is given after a message is sent. The receiver or the recipient of the action intentionally or unintentionally gives a feedback associated with the information received. Let us extract Griselda and her mother's dialogue from the story The Glitch, written by Divina P. Mamin.
Nanay, I can smell the aroma of your best delicacy, adobo.
Yeah, I know. It is the favorite of the family. So, adobo is what I prepared today. Okay. Aling Teres' response to Griselda's statement proves that she decodes the intended meaning of the idea passed on to her. That is what we call feedback. See? Feedback makes a difference. If the mother did not respond to the statement of her daughter, the latter would not know whether her mother understands what she said. The exchange of ideas or information verifies that both parties understand the message. Let us take a look at the illustration of the model on page 21. Schramm Model, 1954, visualized the process of communication as an exchange of thoughts and ideas. Feedback was added to the Shannon-Weaver model. The figure identifies the 6 elements of communication, which are the sender,
the message sent, the receiver, and the feedback provided by the receiver and sent back as a response to the sender, and the process of encoding and decoding. Remember, information may become useless if it is not conveyed properly to others. Thus, the processes of encoding and decoding are the key components of this model, including feedback. Encoding is when an idea or information is translated into words and expressed to others. Decoding is when this idea or information is understood and interpreted by the receiver. Feedback is simply a response that a receiver gives to a sender. It can be verbal or nonverbal. Most importantly, feedback indicates comprehension. It can help senders know if their message was received and understood. By focusing on flow and feedback, interactional models view communication as an ongoing process. Meantime, let us have a short break. We shall discuss the last communication model in your module when we return.
For a student like you, distance learning poses many challenges. Learning all by yourself in this time of pandemic is not easy. But cheer up, young minds, for your learning buddies are here to make learning outcomes rewarding for you. Dare to discover, learn, and be more competent as we sail together in the world of education. Join us in refining your skills to reach your full potentials as a learner here at Learning Today. What's your learning today? Aha! Monitor your learning today.
All right! Welcome back, my dear learners. Let us now move on to the last communication model in your module, which is Transactional Model. This one is dynamic and complex in nature. Let us take a look at Figure 3. Kindly turn your module to page 23. The Transactional Model shows a circular process of interaction between the persons involved in the communication, with each one actively participating and sharing ideas with one another. Both the sender and the receiver may simultaneously exchange roles as communicators. Feedback is given freely and deliberately to one another, or to all members participating in the communication transaction. Since communication is deemed dynamic and progressive, the topic may also change from time to time. In this concept, the noise or barrier to communication is also taken into consideration, for it may directly or indirectly affect the smooth flow of communication. In the event that the message was not clearly conveyed due to the barrier, the communication continues in order to clarify the intended meaning of the sender. Okay, do you have questions or any point of clarification? You may send them in our official group chat or in our Google Classroom. This time, to intensify your understanding of the lesson, kindly turn your module to page 24. Perform the activities on the said page to better understand the concept of communication and how it works. Follow the indicated directions for each activity. In letter A, the directions tell that in the Venn diagram below, show the similarities and differences of the three communication models. Follow-up questions. For you, which model is most effective? Why? In activity B, the directions tell, identify the elements that constitute
the communication process by answering the crossword puzzle below. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. Please also do Activity C. Read the given situations and fill in the grid below by identifying the elements of communication. Lastly, answer Activity D. Directions tell: write a response to each of the following dialogue prompts to what I have learned. Answer the following questions. First, what are the different communication models? Second, what sets communication models different from each other? Third, why is feedback important in communication? And for number 4 question, when is communication process successful? You may now start answering your learning tasks, my dear learners. Write your answers on separate sheets of paper. You may send your answers in our Google Classroom once then. For those of you who are purely modular, you may keep your answer sheets in a portfolio ready for retrieval soon. Now, let us pause for a short break. We shall wrap up everything that we have discussed in today's learning episode when we return.
Hi, Maria! Are you done with our narrative essay in reading and writing?
No, Julia, I don't think I can make one.
Huh? But why? Were you present in our online class when our teacher discussed it?
Yes, I was.
Then why can't you make the activity?
You see, Julia, I am not good in English. It's very difficult for me to understand the language.
Did you tell our teacher about it?
No, I'm shy to tell her that I'm having a hard time.
Maria, you need to be honest. Our teacher kept on reminding us that we can send personal messages to her if we cannot understand the lessons clearly. She won't get mad, I assure you. She just wants us to be honest enough so that she'll know what to do.
You think so?
Yes, of course. That's what I did. I was able to make the activity because our teacher helped me understand the lesson. As a matter of fact, she delightedly answered all my questions.
Really? But I think I still can't.
Why are you saying you can't? Did you even try?
No.
Then try it first before saying you can't do it. Believe in yourself, Maria, because our teachers believe in us so much.
You're right, Julia. I think I should try it first before saying that it's difficult. And I also think that I should not feel scared to approach our teacher. After all, no one will help me but her. Thank you so much, Julia.
You're always welcome, Maria. But don't forget, I am also here to help you. What are friends for, right?
Thank you so much, Julia. I am so lucky to have you.
Remember, Isatians, trying is way better than quitting. A friendly reminder from Isat Radio.
We're back, my dear learners. To sum up all the lessons and insights we have took up today, remember that the 3 well-known communication models are linear, interactive, and transactional model. Linear communication is a one-way process. An example of a linear type of communication is the Shannon model. The elements of communication that are involved in this model are the sender, message, channel, and receiver. The process stops after the message has arrived at its destination. Interactive or shrunk model, on the other hand, is a two-way process. In addition to the components of communication that operate in the linear communication is the presence of the feedback. The last but certainly not the least is the transactional model, which is the most dynamic of communication models. According to Dr. Amy M. Corey, fundamentally, this model views communication as a transaction. In other words, communication is a cooperative action in which communicators co-create the process, outcome, and effectiveness of the interaction. unlike the linear model in which meaning is sent from one person to another. Also, unlike the interactional model in which understanding is achieved through feedback, people create shared meaning in a more dynamic process in the transactional model. That concludes our learning episode for today, my dear 21st century learners. I hope you had a great learning experience with me on air. On behalf of my oral communication teacher partners, Ma'am Michelle Bayucan, Ma'am Rosen Gangan, and Ma'am Ines Telan, and the entire Flambo Radio production team, this has been Ma'am Nichar Umengan. Thank you for listening. Please stay safe, study well, and may God bless us all. Until our next learning episode. Goodbye, my dear learners.
Flambo Radio.
Flambo Radio.
Sparks knowledge, ignites skills, sphere of flame that forges learning.
Flambo Radio.
99.9 megahertz in your radio dial. You are tuned in to Flambo Radio, the campus radio of the Isabela School of Arts and Trades, the prime mover of textbook education in the Cagayan Valley region. Now connecting to the community via sound waves to expand its reach to the 21st century learners.
Flambo Radio
is a channel that broadcasts lessons of the Department of Education to enrich teaching and learning process, hoisting the flagship of enduring education, believing that our future rests on the hands of our youth. Flambo Radio.
Flambo Radio, at your service in education.